All right, so I wanted to answer this great question on what to do. Do you go back in separation if y'all are connected and he is still acting a fool, unrepentant, prideful, all of these different things? The first thing I want to tell you to do is listen to God. That is the absolute first thing that I'm going to tell you to do, because God, there's so much different avenues and lessons that could be in this actual encounter. I know for me, one lesson I've learned is that God always would use me to sow seeds of transformation in him when he was unrepentant. So like I was always modeling Christ-like ways, like how the Bible says, if you have a husband that do not believe the word, then you win them over by the conduct of your behavior. I went through seasons of that where I still had to be connected, but my obedience to God would begin to start to do a work, and him would ultimately be him being broken down in judgment. That's one scenario, okay? Another scenario would be to show you your heart. Dealt with this too. God could be showing you if you're still in idolatry, if you're still making things about you. So many different things, okay? But you could be where God is showing you your heart in the matter. I know it's easy to point the finger, but God could be showing you your healing. So many times I've heard people say, I've healed because I didn't even respond this way, Raven. I'm not even that way anymore. Or God will just show you the places that you still need healing. Now, if you're in a marital covenant and the person is still violating the covenant and being disrespectful, my advice, unless the Lord tells you, my advice would be to separate, because y'all know Raven if he is still disrespecting the covenant, let's say that, he returns back, but he's still prideful, still disrespectful, things of that nature. Because everybody's financial structure is different, because he could possibly be paying a mortgage or whatever, I would definitely have boundaries that as high as the wall of Jericho, because he's disrespecting the covenant. So I would definitely, if I can't separate physically, I would separate emotionally, intimately, in every way to protect my peace and my healing. If you are not married and he come back trying to lead you into sin, then a lot of times that don't be God sending them back. That be their flesh. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes God be trying to teach you boundaries, if it's, depending on the situation. But if they come back and they're still the same and they're leading you into sin, eventually you're going to have to create a boundary, less contact, because ultimately y'all don't really got nothing to talk about. I'll be honest with you, because at this point, I'm sure he knows your walk with God. And if he's trying to not care about that, y'all have nothing to talk about. That's the ultimate red flag on the plate. You need to go back from where you come from. Now, you will still want to listen to God. You see what I'm saying? Ultimately, listen to God. I'm just giving you practical wisdom like that, because a lot of times when you're not married, and they're not like what God like you, the very first thing that God will have you establish is boundaries, and he will have you enforce them. Okay? Because this person has to really see that you've changed. They have to literally know that this is your life. And if you want to be connected to me, then you have to abide by my boundaries and be respectful and honor my walk with God. And I've seen this work in so much connections of the God ordained state. I've seen it work an astronomical amount of times. I would never tell you anything that don't work. But a lot of times, that's the first thing that God will have you establish boundaries. You will be forced to love yourself and God over this man. You will be forced to choose yourself, because God will have nothing above him. You see what I'm saying? So very hard place to be. But when you get on the opposite side of it and they begin to value and respect you, then you don't have to worry about folly and fornication and stuff like that, because they already know the answer is no. Okay. But ultimately, you want to listen to God before you make any move. But if they are violating the covenant, if you can, I would go back into separation. All right. But sometimes God will lead you to stay connected, to sow seeds, and, they'll be convicted and judgment will happen upon them. I've seen that happen. And that was my case. It's been many times where I wanted to go back in separation and the Lord was like, negative. You're going to basically stand, because I could have handled it. I just didn't want to. So I pray that this video has provided some insight. Use wisdom along with faith, you guys. You got to use your common sense, not your love for the person, but your wisdom. And to answer your questions, yes, I'm almost done with the ebook. That will be released this week, probably tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. And I love you guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.